say that again? You know, it's really interesting. You have a forum like this, an opportunity to come in and speak with so many caring people that support us all in so many ways. And you know, for me, I don't really know where to start. What I'm sure is that probably starting with the players is a good spot. As you can imagine, when we get the team together and we start our training in August, it can be a lot of differences and new players. As you know, we're a pretty global team. We have kids from all over the world that have come in and joined us, and trying to find the balance in all of it, take their playing styles and their cultural differences and their habits and trying to mesh it all into one. And then you throw in the U20 World Cup where 3 of the players are away, and then the captain of the team taking off a little bit for national team duty. And then 2 of the other young ones taking off to go play in World Cup qualification in the CONCACAF region. It can be a really interesting managerial chess match. And I think that our staff, top to bottom, did an exceptional job of managing this group to help them to peak at the right time. But first and foremost, I think it's imperative that I thank the players. I know that you know, we ask for your buy-in, we ask for your commitment to us, and couldn't ask for more. When it comes to the staff, I feel very good that David Colburn went through the list of people, because his memory is much better than mine, his notes are much better than mine. I do think that there is one for sure that you missed, and that's the video staff. And over the course of the last number of years, we've asked more and more of our video staff to come and videotape training, and then our staff goes and breaks all of that stuff, the training down, and sits with the players and goes over it. Any of you others, I do truly apologize if we've missed you, because we wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for a collective effort. All of you have gone well above and beyond the call of duty to ensure the success that we have had. The technical staff I have, including Director of Operations, the countless hours that are put in, the attention to detail is just magnificent. If any of you were in our war room, as they're often called, and heard the discussions and debates about how it is that we're going to play a certain opponent, and you know, oftentimes it's a great deal of debate with very colorful language. I've found out that I lack an IQ at different times, that my vocabulary has been expanded in various situations. But at the end of the day, we all know that we're fighting together to try and find that right formula. And I would say that, yeah, I think it's fair to say. David, what do you think of the Stanford game? Yeah, what do you think of Stanford? Did you find the right formula?
I thought you designed a brilliant plan.
It was all me. Yeah. What I can tell you is between Mike and Ema and Mitch, again, the amount of time that was spent over the last month, as soon as the bracket came out, breaking down their video, analyzing every aspect of their play, it was significant. And you know, then of course, once you get the information, you put a plan together, then it's teaching. And we have some great teachers on our staff, and most importantly, then it comes to application. And the players, you guys did great application. And some of you may have heard the comment that I made to the players was, we didn't go to Carolina to beat Stanford, we came to win the national championship. And the biggest fear that I had was, oftentimes when you're dealing with young players, you can get so excited. You're playing Stanford, the #1 team in the country, defending national champions, won 45 games in a row. That if we didn't have such a diverse team, I was going to use the 1980 U.S. hockey team as an example, but I remembered I'm a little bit too old, and I also knew that our team is too global to fully appreciate what that meant to all of us. So we left that analogy out. But I think that our group's ability to refocus and concentrate and go back out and execute a completely different game plan on Sunday than on Friday and find a way to grind it out. I thought the effort was just magnificent. We talk about the starting players, and then we talk about those players that are coming into the game and keeping the level high or raising the level. And I don't think I need to say much more than Dallas. It would be a mistake, however, to solely single out Dallas. I think that we would know that in team sport it takes much more than one player. I think Dallas is just a great example, and she gets the spotlight and the notoriety for going in and doing her job and scoring the goal. But there are a lot of players that came off that bench that influenced not only that game, but an awful lot of games. And I think Caroline Jeffers did a pretty good job too. So now I've done that twice, right? So I wasn't going to single anyone out, I was single two people out. So, but I will say to you, it's my hope and my belief that the players know that we win as a team and we lose as a team, and that you played that way, acted like champions, won, the big stage was there, produced. I think it's also important that I take a second to thank all the families. God knows that my wife and my kids, and I'm sure the case with all of the other staff members, the families have to be very supportive. The days are very long days. They start quite early in the morning, oftentimes ending very late at night. And I think for me, I'd like to just take a second and give a hand to all of the families and thank you for all of you. So when I speak about families, I'm also referring to the players' families. You know, when you have a collection of all-stars, as we do, this is an all-star team. I have the joy of every day getting together with some of the best young players in the world and working with them. But the referees only allow us to put 11 players on the field. And that means some players are going to have different roles than they're accustomed to. And I'm sure that here at Florida State, in every sport, there are no average players. In every sport here at Florida State, we got great players. And sometimes kids have to come in and they have to assume a different role than what they've had prior to arriving here. And a lot of times it's the parents and the families that can be a negative influence on the kids. But your families, they did such a great job of supporting you and supporting our team. It made it easy for us to go forward as a collective group and as a team. And I think that it would be a mistake to not recognize that the support of all of your families is very important to any team's success. I'd like to go forward here and talk about our university community. President Thrasher, David, your families as well. We certainly appreciate the great support that we've got through the course of our time here at Florida State. It's just been an incredible run for us. We have had, as I mentioned, 9 College Cup, 9 Final Four appearances during my time here, one before I got here when Patrick Baker and his staff laid a great foundation for us to come and build upon. But without the support of our administrative group, I promise you none of this would happen. And that includes our boosters and Andy Miller, and we appreciate the work that you've done. And I'd also like to point out to you, look at the crowd. You guys are absolutely fantastic. I think that's good. You talk about a true home field advantage. For any of you that were lucky enough to come out and watch our game against Penn State, it was a magnificent atmosphere, a magnificent crowd, and as the Carolina folks had the opportunity yesterday to find out, it's nice to play in front of your home crowd. It doesn't ensure victory though on their part. It did on ours. Finally, I would like to thank all of our administrative support for all the hard work and effort that they've put in. I think it would be a mistake on my part to also not mention my old good friend Mark Krikorian and the support that he gave to me and to our staff throughout his time here, and of course to the university as well. In closing, what I can say is, and I've mentioned this to the players earlier, there hasn't been a team in a long while that's repeated. They haven't come back to back in the world of women's soccer.
Thank you.
My hope is, for now, all of you can enjoy this national championship, just as David had suggested and President Thrasher had suggested. You've worked hard, you've earned this. Enjoy it. But when you come back after the beginning of the year, let's get ready to get back to work and see what happens for next year. Now, which was the gentleman that was calling for the raise? One more time? So we have two captains on our team, and we'd like to invite them up to say a few words. Olivia and Natu, if you would come up. Thank you.